Hussam, I'll come to you because I think, no secrets there. Again, Hussam, very active on Twitter. I've seen all your, views regarding Trent Alexander-Arnold. Again, some of the points are perfectly fair. Like, I'm a fan of the guy as well, but without comparing him, right? As in just now talking about Chelsea, right? As in Reece James, like that's one person that is always compared with. But apart from that, Christensen as well as Chalobah, like these are two people apart from Reece James who've kind of really risen up to the occasion, and they're probably seamlessly, substituting the main players, and that's something that, as an opposition fan, you see as a threat. Do you see these three players kind of, being or having that in them to kind of reach to the top level?
Yeah, I really do. And I said, look, obviously, when it comes to Reece James, he's probably, I know you asked me to not compare, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's probably the second best right back in the league right now. I think he's overtaken Walker and the rest of them. I think he's proven himself at the top level. So I really like Reece James. I'd put him top 3 youngsters in the league as well, just below Foden and Saka, in my opinion. So I think when it comes to Reece James, very impressive. Chalobah, extremely impressive. I watched him against Palace as well. He defends well. The impressive part about him is he could probably play as one of the sixers and can play as a centre back, which is as well, like, versatility at a very young age is good. Christensen, like, I'll never be convinced fully by him because I've seen him, like, we've seen this Christensen before. Like he is somewhat inconsistent, where he'll perform well for like 4 or 5 games, then just drop off for 2, then perform well. But ever since, I'd say that sending off against Liverpool at home, he's actually been consistent. So we have to give props where it's due. I think, look, Chelsea have an incredible squad. The only problem you have is the forward line. So
Yeah.
once again, the 2 players behind Lukaku, like we saw, the problem in the system is not Lukaku. The problem is how to get the ball to Lukaku, how to supply him. So the issue is with the 2 players behind Lukaku, because Havertz have dropped off. I've gone on record and I've said he's a future Ballon d'Or winner. I've said it, so I have no problem with saying that whatsoever. But he's dropped off this season. Mount has dropped off as well. Werner, I prefer to not speak. I know he played well against the last game you had against Southampton at home. He did
Southampton,
play
yeah.
well, but that's just like a rare occasion, if I'm being completely honest. So when it comes to Chelsea team and the youngsters the youngsters have all performed well, extremely well. And I think as well, the one guy that probably a lot of people have forgotten about is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who as well played
Yeah.
a very good game against Southampton. So, Chelsea, unfortunately, as Rich says, are looking good right now, unfortunately for all of us.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll put in one more name there. Rich, I'll come to you because I think, yeah, you made that comment, Rich. So I have to come to you because Callum Hudson-Odoi, right? And that's one more youngster who's kind of, I would say, almost like kind of goes sulky. I know not in terms of the way he looks, but it's just that it's obvious from his performance when he plays right wing back versus when he plays up front, right? Last game against Southampton, he was actually part of the front 3, and we could see the difference in Callum Hudson-Odoi. I know that's a natural position and all that, but at the end of the day, it is what you do on the pitch as well, as it shows. So, as in for you, Rich, as in again, I know Man United over the years have played with a lot of wing backs. So, do you see Callum Hudson-Odoi being that attacking wing back, especially since we play like a Kante and Jorginho in midfield a lot of times, right? Or would you prefer, like, say, seeing as a neutral again, seeing Reece James and maybe Loftus-Cheek, like Hussam said, like he's a great option in midfield?
No, it's crazy, isn't it? Like I said, you've almost got so many options now. It's a bit worrying. So you can play, and obviously, you've got to say a lot of credit to Tuchel of how he's turned things around after Lampard left. So I think the fact that he's excelling in that position, but also you've got other options, is worrying, because for Manchester United, you've got to say that sometimes we're more one-dimensional and we struggle to change things during a match. So I think it's a massive positive for your team that you do have these different options available to you. And I would say that outside of Man City, you've really built a squad to give you these different options in different matches, different combinations you can use. So I think with Tuchel, you do have the squad to compete across several different tournaments. I think with us, we're kind of wondering whether the Champions League plus Premier League is quite a tough ask, I think, for most teams to try and really go far in the tournament. Like as Bobby said, you could be playing a huge amount of games, little recovery. We did see that we played 2 games recently and we had to change the team a lot, and it was working okay at some, but I think it's more a struggle for some teams than others. So I think the fact that Chelsea could possibly change 5 or 6 players and you wouldn't notice the difference in quality, and you could play, like you said, different positions is a concern for Manchester United fans.
Absolutely, again, I hope every player kind of understands that as well, because squad management is a thing, and Tuchel is brilliant at that compared to what we had in the past, and that's something I think a jewel that we've got, Tuchel, right? But Bobby, I'll let you end the Chelsea section first, because for you, I think again we've scored a few brilliant goals. I know we just voted for the goal of the month for the month of September. But for you, Bobby, which was that one goal that really stands out for Chelsea in these 7 weeks?
Oh, for me, I will have to go for Timo Werner's goal on was it Saturday? On Saturday, last Saturday, against Southampton. It's not that there was anything spectacular about the goal.
Yeah,
it's just Timo, his endeavor, his barefaced honesty on the pitch, and his perseverance is what Chelsea fans adore in him. Timo will miss an absolute sitter that would have anybody else completely crucified. But when you look at how hard that guy tries, you can't help but just get behind him. And after he was, in my opinion, wrongly, when he wrongly had his first goal chalked off, taking VAR as far as the 18th century to be able to chalk that goal off. The way he came back, he never lost his stride. He kept on and on and on, and eventually got his reward. For me, it was what that goal meant. I mean, there's so many this season, funnily enough. Talking about that, the first goal, Chalobah's goal. For
exactly. I was thinking you'll probably go for Chalobah. But again, people watching, definitely comment which is your favorite goal. Again, as a Chelsea fan, and we'll get to other clubs as well. And yes, thanks for sharing that, Bobby. But I get that Timo Werner's point, for sure. As in, fans are behind him for a reason, especially the people who kind of watch the games, look at his runs, and that's fantastic. And it rubs off on the others, right? Same with Mason Mount. These are two people who kind of run. Run. That's all. But then to finish that Chelsea section quickly, I think Thomas Tuchel, from the time he's taken now, I think he's accumulated the most points compared to any other manager in the Premier League at home. So maybe we are making Stamford Bridge our fortress. What we used to do under Mourinho, and that's something that we need to really continue as a side. But as in a lot of discussion there.